all in all, Galactic Jam, Chris here, and yep, it's been a while for me. I'm going to do one of those videos that everybody doesn't watch. Alright, so I want to give you all my impression of one of my games and what that I've been playing a lot right now. I'm in this game. I haven't finished this game. I've put about 35 hours into it, around about that. And I just want to tell you some of the things I like, some of the things I don't, and an overall impression of the game. So if you can stick with me, thank you very much, and I will start this out. So basically, the game I'm on about is Dragon Quest. Whoop. It's hard to do things on phone. Dragon Quest 8. And the game I would say is very, very good for people that like JRPGs, but typically people that love to invest in a game for very long and get a real satisfaction of reward. The game has a class system that you unlock 30 hours into the game, and as this class system is sort of like the real most grinding thing in the game, you get a choice of playing multiple ones, and the idea is you do one class. I'll let you know what the classes are called. Vocations. You play one class, and that's a vocation, and that's what they're called. You level them up. You learn abilities, and the awesome thing is when you change to a different one, you get to keep not some but all of those abilities. They are all yours to keep, and then you can just change. So it makes it very easy to swap out. But obviously the addiction is you kind of want to sort of do them all and mastering them. And I can guarantee you, if that's the idea of what you want to do in this game, then you will be playing this. I couldn't even imagine, maybe to like 100 to 120 hours max, and maybe even more than that. The game story is very long, so it took me 30 hours to even get to my vocations. And like I said, I've only started there, so I'm not the best person to really give you a heads up for vocations. But there are some that I would recommend. Shepherd being one of them. And the reason why you want a Shepherd is because it has one of the most essential abilities in the game. Abilities or magic, or whatever it's called. Whatever which one it is, ability or magic. Basically, whistle it is. And whistle, you can just keep on getting your encounter up. So basically, you would think random battles happen a lot, but then sometimes you really want to get these things to go more frequently. Like on Final Fantasy, was you on those random battles. Here you got to go out in the map and get into battles by seeing the enemies. Now, it's not hard, obviously, but to increase that, the whistle, you just press the whistle, use it. If it's anything like Dragon Quest 8, it doesn't cost anything, and it shouldn't do because it's an ability. Alright, for anyone that knows Dragon Quest, that plays them, I mean. So you can just keep on doing that, spamming that, get into the battles, and you can really sort of easy way that level up your character and level up your vocations. These are two separate, by the way. Leveling and your characters and vocations are separate. So you could vocation levels increase by how many battles you do with them. So you have to say if you did them about 5 times, you would get to the next level. So it starts at level 1, then goes up to level 2, 3, and you gather that. So it's a separate leveling system, and like I said, there's no point not doing it, because it's not going to do anything to your characters. All the abilities that you learn are kept. It's not one of those games that like Final Fantasy, for example, like Final Fantasy Tactics, if I remember, or even Final Fantasy 14, where you change to a different job and you lose all those abilities. I mean, even in Final Fantasy 14, you were able to. There were some abilities that you were able to share, but I don't think that is the case anymore. If I remember, after the last patch and the Stormblood expansion, you weren't able to share abilities from other classes. But this one you can, and that makes it really awesome. So like, if you should like just go to get the best abilities, and then do other characters. Like I even thought of a thing like I will get Shepherd to get Whistle, then move to another class because I've got Whistle, and maybe there's another ability that I needed Shepherd. I think there was. I read up on it about there's this high damage ability that can be used in the later game. Yeah, I cheated and read some stuff. I really recommend that to anyone. It's not... look at guides, look at things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's interesting. You find out some stuff. And sometimes even stuff like this can help you. There's a complete guide, on the net for all the vocations and the ones that are useful at the beginning of the game, and the ones that for the end game almost stuff. Like there's 3 layers of the vocations. There's the first sort of class, your second class, what I guess everyone's like would remember it from other games, like an advanced class. So it's sort of like, all those Final Fantasy games, all those JRPGs, even Western ones, you get a second class. The neat thing about this game is there's a third class, and the cool thing about doing all of that is if you wanted the third class or even the second class, you need to level up two classes, not classes. you gather what I'm saying. Okay, you've got to level up 2 of them, and then once they're at a certain level, you'll be able to unlock the next one, and the tier goes up all the way up to 3. What is Master? And once you get Master, you have 3 or 4 types of Masters, and it's quite advanced. I think research is recommended, or just playing, and because it doesn't really stop you from swapping out classes. So if you in the long game, if you're happy to play this game to the point of trying to master them, or it won't matter like in which way you do this. Just do it the way you want. For advancing story though, I would recommend having one of the characters as Sage, and I would make that Maribel. I think it's Maribel. Make her a Sage, because she can do a lot of good healing. She has, I think if I remember correctly, she has full heal on all, so it can just completely heal your party. And if it's not full heal, it's substantially better that she can heal all of your characters. Then, like I said, Shepherd, because to learn those abilities, one being Whistle, and one of them, I think it's Shepherd's Delight. No, not Shepherd's Delight. Shepherd's something. Let's just say it's Shepherd's Delight. Why not? That ability will do a lot of good damage later on in the game. So definitely recommend to get these 2 abilities. Like I said, I haven't got these abilities. I'm doing that. I'm grinding for that. And then I would suggest, just after you got those 2 abilities, change the class to, if you're being Shepherd, I'd change Shepherd to be, I think if I remember, Sailor, and level that up, and you could make that into a monster masher, if that is what I remember, or maybe change it completely to another class, because like I said, it depends on what you want. I don't think there really is in the game where it's that, like, it's just getting the best abilities early and then finding out what you want to be. It's just some recommendations. Shepherd to begin with, um, and Sage, and then I probably would go to the third one, Sailor, because there's some really good abilities to be learned there. Um, a lot of abilities that you can learn there will help you out in the game. But other recommendations for classes to do afterwards, for just grinding, not progressing the story, but also getting these abilities that will help you. Like I said, I would do these ones later, after. I do the ones I would do second time would be Jester and Dancer, and then third I would do Mage, and that's my idea of it. But you can swap them all out. But I think the best idea is my first three classes, because the second and third, I think it's more about experimenting. But personally, it's not too complicated, and I'm making it sound like it's more complicated. But I just wanted to share that my opinion on the first three the first tier, not the second or third tier, because I don't have quite an understanding of it. If you're following me and actually staying with me, and thank you very much, it means a lot to me. But the first tier I would do for advancing story and also getting some early perks to then change to another class early in the game. One being Shepherd, like I said, the Whistle and the Shepherd's Delight. What's really good, and then maybe change that, and then two, getting the Sage, because that's a really good class. And then the third is definitely, the Sailor, because that also has some really good abilities. Those I can't think of the top of my head, but there's some good abilities to be learned. Of course, there's some good abilities to be learned on all front, but I'd highly recommend the Shepherd. I think that is what I'm saying, just for the Whistle ability, in my opinion, because then you can just spam that so many times to get so much encounters, because it's not the experience that level up the vocation, it's how many encounters you have. So that's me. A very long video. Hope it was helpful. There is plenty. I have been looking at YouTube videos for this, and I didn't find anything useful on YouTube. But on Google, I would suggest just put in the Dragon Quest 7 noobs, because I found that to be very helpful. And the people there, and particularly one person there, really gave out just a complete guide to everything on everything. I wish I could remember his name, and brilliant. It's on Dragon Quest 7 noobs, and this dude just gets you through, every possible best scenario of your vocations, not classes. Yeah. So yeah, definitely I would recommend looking at that. I'm kind of new to YouTube. I don't know too much about linking things, but like I said, I just typed in Google Dragon Quest 7 guide, and then I scrolled down and it was noobs to Dragon Quest 7, and it was there. So I take it it's going to be there for everyone else. And yeah, that was the best one I would say was brilliant. Thanks for sticking with me. Like I said, Dragon Quest 7, I'd highly recommend if you're going to invest a lot of time. If you're not going to invest a lot of time, I'd skip this Dragon Quest. If I had to recommend you a Dragon Quest, I haven't played many. I would also, a lot of people recommend this one. You can get this for the 3DS, the PS2, and I don't think you can get this for the PS4 or the PS3. But these two games you can get, is Dragon Quest 8. Out of all the YouTube videos I've watched, all the things I get feedback from, and I completed it, and this is what got me into the series, is Dragon Quest 8. Because Dragon Quest 8 is 60 hours, and I know that sounds a lot, but that's kind of fair, because a lot of these games are 80 to 100, 120, 160, stupid. 60 hours, you get your money's worth. And for somebody that's completed it, I should do a video myself, but maybe I will. I'll just do it on this, because if you made it this far, I'll also put it in the description that I'm going to talk a bit about Dragon Quest 8. Fuck it, let's do it. Dragon Quest 8, and I have played it on the PS2. I want it for the 3DS. I played it on the PS2, completed it. That is one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. Brilliant. And for people that don't like JRPGs or don't like long-winded games, that game is very good and it's very satisfying. Everything in the game is it's fair. You know, you don't feel like you're getting cheated, and the game story is epic, and the customization and just the humor. That story is brilliant. So yeah, if I had to recommend the Dragon Quest game, I'd start with 8. I think everybody says that. 8's the best one, man. 8's the best one. I haven't played 11. I wish that's what I want to play now, but I don't know Japanese, and I'm just gonna have to wait for that. And I haven't played Dragon Quest 10 because, again, that would just be so confusing to do. So yeah, that game is amazing. So yeah, start with Dragon Quest 8. Sidetracked from the whole point of Dragon Quest 7, but Dragon Quest 7 for the fans, you know, the real people that are thinking, oh well, I ain't getting this game, you know, like, I got fucking Dragon Quest 11, blah blah blah. You guys in Japan, I doubt the people in Japan love Dragon Quest. People in Japan walk over me completely, just going, I have completed every Dragon Quest, and of course I completed Dragon Quest 7, it's epic. So yeah, for the people that like the long grind and the satisfaction of doing the long grind and getting the best outcome, because it's so much customization that you usually find in an MMO, but it's a single player game. And for somebody that plays MMOs, I kind of like the single player. Like I prefer I don't prefer the end game. I prefer the whole grinding the levels and enjoying the playing, like Final Fantasy 14, for example. No, I'm even on Final Fantasy on it. That's a good one because you got a good fun and just playing with all the classes, doing stories with all the classes. It's a good one. I've never got to end game on that, and every time I play it, I just start a new class. And the cool thing about that and this Dragon Quest 7, there is no starting again, or, you know, like you get a lot of shit from a lot of games. Like even some good games that I like, that you alright, you want to be another class, start a new game. That's crap, man. Like even World of Warcraft, that's one example. Not a very story game, but that's an MMO example where you don't really get to change it up very much. So, you know, and then there's some Western RPGs where really you're stuck into one role for a majority of the time, but then you can come back later on other classes. And I like that, and I don't like that, depending on what type of game it is. But Dragon Quest 7, for the people that love just mix matching, just picking up the game instead of going through story for a bit, in what I've enjoyed so far, the story.